Hello everyone, this is Ashutosh Raut. I hope you are doing well. So, in the part 2 of AWS CCP exam lecture series, we have seen till AWS Storage Gateway, and now let us continue with the AWS Database Services. So, let's start with relational database services. So, AWS RDS is a platform as a service which is managed database service offered by AWS, which uses SQL as a query language. It allows us to create database in the cloud, and it supports PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server, and Aurora. So Aurora is nothing but AWS proprietary database that is not it's not a open source. So talking about advantages of this relational database service versus deploying our own database on EC2 instance. So first one is automated provisioning and OS patching. So as it is platform as a service, we get automated provisioning and OS patching. Then continuous backup and restore to a specific timestamp. So it is also automatic backups. Then the performance will be better than the customer managed database instances. The reason being is automated provisioning and voice patching. Then monitoring dashboards, read replicas for improved read performance, and multi-availability zone setup for disaster recovery. So that are the advantages of using relational database versus deploying a database on EC2. So next advantage, storage backed by EBS. So EBS is nothing but elastic block storage. So uh, the RDS is having storage backed by EBS, and the one disadvantages is we cannot SSH into our instance. In case of the database deployed on top of EC2 instance, we can SSH, but in RDS instance we cannot SSH. So that is the disadvantage, we can say. The next thing is Amazon Aurora. So this service Aurora is nothing but the platform as a service database, and it is a proprietary technology from AWS. So we should, I mean, we need to pay for it if we want to use it. So the next one, the next point is it costs more than RDS, 20% more, but it is more efficient. So if we have that kind of usage or application to use this Aurora, then we can definitely go for it. Then there are some deployment options for RDS. So we have read replicas, multi-availability zone, multi-region, read replicas. So these are some deployment options that are provided by uh, AWS RDS service. So read replicas, we can scale the read workload of our database, and we can create up to 5 read replicas, and data is only written to the main database. So um, not much important, but better to read. Then multi-availability zone deployment options. So if in case our database fails, then we have another database, so we get high availability. Then data is only read and written to the main database. So that's second point there. Then multi-region read replicas. So it's multi-availability zone and it's multi-region. So the name itself suggests, so self-explanatory. Now, as part of multi-region, we get disaster recovery in case of region issues, and local performance for global reads, and replication cost will definitely be there if we go with the multi-region read replicas. The next service is Amazon Elasticache database. So Elasticache is nothing but a managed Redis or meme cache database. So actually, caches are in memory databases with high performance and low latency. So it helps to reduce load of the database for read intensive workload. So if you have such use case where we have read intensive workloads, then we can go with the Elasticache database. So these highlighted words are important, like high performance and low latency. So if we need this, then we can go with the Elasticache database. So that's all we have as a part of relational database. Then non-relational or NoSQL databases, as a part of that we have DynamoDB, which is nothing but key value database. So mostly I have observed that no deep questions on this, direct questions that I have observed. So we have DynamoDB, and as a part of this, it is serverless, fully managed database with replication across 3 availability zones, and it is integrated with IAM for security, authorization, and administration. So the next we have is low cost and auto scaling capabilities, standard and infrequent access table classes, and DynamoDB global tables. So I have seen several questions on this DynamoDB global tables. So it replicate data automatically across our choice of AWS regions. And then there comes the DynamoDB accelerator DAX. So it is for faster reads, and it is fully managed in-memory cache for DynamoDB. So it provides 10x performance improvement. And if you talk about the difference with Elasticache, the index is the only used for and integrated with DynamoDB, while Elasticache can use for other databases as well. So that's the main difference. And then document database. So document database is also a platform as a service, and it is based on MongoDB. So MongoDB is used to store, query, and index JSON data. So that's about document database. Then there comes Amazon Neptune. So it is a graph database that sort is sufficient for exam. Then QLDB. So QLDB stands for Quantum Ledger Database. Uh, so a ledger is nothing but a book for recording financial transactions. So this QLDB can serve purpose if we have any use case wherein we need to record financial transactions. And it is fully managed, serverless, high availability, and replication across 3 availability zones. So it is used to review history of all the changes made to your application data over time, and it is immutable system, so no entry can be removed or modified, cryptographically verifiable. So if we have such use case where we need immutable system, so then we can obviously go with QLDB. Then there comes Amazon managed blockchain. So Amazon managed blockchain is managed service to join public blockchain networks or create our own scalable private network. It is compatible with frameworks, Hyperledger, Fabric, and so not much important, but yeah, this is a part of a database. So, and the next one is the important one, Redshift database. So it is based on PostgreSQL, but not used for OLTP. So OLTP is online transactional processing. So it is not used for OLTP. It is OLAP, online analytical processing. So it loads data once every hour. It is columnar storage of data, and it is used for massively parallel processing. It is basically we can use this database as a data warehouse, uh, big data processing, and everything. So that's about Redshift. So it has SQL interface for performing queries. So sorry, I missed these 2 points actually. So as a part of continuation of Redshift database, we have 2 more points. So it has a SQL interface for performing queries, and BI tools, business intelligence tools such as AWS QuickSight or Tableau are integrated with it. So QuickSight is nothing but serverless business intelligence tool to create interactive dashboards, and this is provided by AWS. So yeah, And the next one, AWS Glue. So AWS Glue is fully managed serverless ETL service, which is used to prepare and transform data for analytics. So ETL, if you don't know, it is extract, transform, and load. So Glue is the service which we can use to perform ETL operations. The next one, Amazon EMR, is Elastic MapReduce. So Elastic MapReduce helps to create Hadoop cluster, big data. So it's related to big data. So to analyze and process vast amount of data. So we can use this EMR service, and the clusters can be made of hundreds of EC2 instances. So we can use EC2 instances to make clusters. Then there comes Amazon Athena. So this is serverless query service to perform analytics against S3 objects. So if we ever want to perform analytics against S3 objects, simple storage service objects, then we can use this Athena service. Then this service uses standard SQL language to query the files, and it supports CSV, JSON, ORC, Avro, and Parquet. And talking about the pricing, it has $5 per TB of data scanned. So that's about the pricing there. The next one is Amazon DMS, so database migration service, and as the name suggests, it is used to migrate the databases quickly and securely. Migrate databases to AWS. Resilient, self-healing. Okay, the source database remains available during the migration, and it supports both homogeneous, that is Oracle to Oracle, and heterogeneous, means some other database like SQL Server to Aurora. So migration basically. So that's about my DMS. The next is network services. This is also another important topic, we can say, network services. So first we have its VPC and subnets. So VPC is nothing but virtual private cloud, and it is a private network to deploy our resources, regional resources. And subnets, so subnets allow us to partition our network inside our virtual private network, so we can see it as a hierarchy. So this is availability zone level, we can say subnet, and VPC we can say regional level. So there are two types of subnets: public subnet and private subnet. So public subnet is accessible from the internet, and private subnet is a subnet that is not accessible from the internet. So that's pretty simple. And to define access to the internet and between the subnets, we use route tables. So that's the use of route tables. The next is internet gateway and NAT gateway. So it is managed by AWS, so we will have to use it. So our internet gateway allows our instances from public subnet to access the internet, and NAT gateway allows our instances from private subnets to access the internet while remaining private. So that's the difference as well between these two services there. Then the third one is VPC pairing. So what is VPC pairing? It's connecting two uh, virtual private networks using AWS network. So that's nothing but VPC pairing. So very simple, and it must not it must not have overlapping CIDR. So these are nothing but IP address ranges. So that's not important point. What is important is what is VPC pairing. And then there comes VPC endpoints. So this is again private. So if we want to connect to AWS services using private network instead of public network, we can go with VPC endpoints. Now I have seen a few questions, or only one question many times, that VPC endpoint gateway is used to connect S3 and DynamoDB, and VPC endpoint interface is used for the rest of the services. So that's difference there. So we need to remember that. The fifth one is private link. So AWS private link, again, as the name suggests, it's private. no public or internet involved. So connecting a service to thousands of EPCs. So if you want to connect an AWS service with thousands of EPCs, we can go with private link. And you can see all these three VPC pairing endpoint, private link, we're seeing these are private, privately connecting services, but there is a difference between the use. So that's what we need to remember. And the second one, which is private and which is public, that one we need to remember. So those two things. So the next one is site-to-site VPN and direct connect. So it is hybrid service basically. Because why it is hybrid, I will tell you. It is hybrid because we are connecting AWS and on-premises. So whenever you find any question on connecting um, on-premises to AWS, these are the services: site-to-site VPN and direct connect. So first, site-to-site VPN. So it is public encrypted connection between on-premises and AWS, and that's what is important. So now on-premises should use customer gateway and AWS must use virtual private gateway. So that is another important point. And direct connect is nothing but private physical connection. Okay, so this is the difference between these two, serving the same purpose but in a different way, we can say. So direct connect private is private physical connection between on-premises and AWS. The next one is AWS client VPN. Now it connects from our computer using OpenVPN to private network in AWS and on-premises. So it allows us to connect our EC2 instances over a private IP, just as if we were in the private VPC network, and it goes over public internet. So it's something important because it's public, not private. So yeah. And again, the transit gateway. So for having transitive peering between thousands of EPCs and on-premises, the hub and spoke connection works with direct connect gateway VPN connections. So that's about transit gateway. The next one, Amazon Route 53. So Route 53 is managed domain name system. DNS is a collection of rules and records which helps clients to understand how to reach a server through URLs. Very basic of networking actually. And there are some certain routing policies which are important from exam perspective. So simple routing policy where we don't get any health checkups. Sorry, I'm saying health checkups, no health checks actually. Then the second one is a weighted routing policy. The third one is latency routing policy, and fourth one is failover routing policy. So these are some routing policies which are important. So the next one is domain 4, billing and pricing. So this is again very important from exam perspective. So the first point here, copied from syllabus, is compare and contrast the various pricing models of AWS. So the first point, three fundamental drivers of cost with AWS. So fundamental drivers of cost are compute, storage, and outbound data transfer. So I have observed question on this. So this is important point, we can say. So in most cases there is no charge for inbound data transfer or data transfer among AWS services within the same region. And outbound data transfer is aggregated across the services and then charged at outbound data transfer rate. So these are the points about three fundamental drivers of cost and the pricing models in AWS. So AWS has four pricing models. First one is pay as you go, then save when you reserve, then third one is pay less using more. So this is nothing but they provide volume based discounts when we are using more. And then the fourth one is pay less as AWS grows. So it is nothing but we have seen in the beginning itself that economies of scale is the a benefit of cloud. Now pay as you go means you're paying for what you use. Let's say your monthly billing, and whatever you have used in the month you are paying at the end of month. Now save when you reserve. So if you are reserving for 1 year or 3 year any service, let's say database for instance, so you can get discount, we can say, or the cost less than what you pay by using pay as you go. The third one, pay less using more. So it's nothing but volume based discounts we will get, and pay less as AWS grows. So they will cut prices as you know AWS scales. So that's something different. Now the following AWS services support reservation to optimize the cost. This is again important point. Which AWS services support reservation? That I have seen one question on this. So we can reserve EC2 instance, RDS, Elasticatch, then DynamoDB and Redshift. The next one is EC2 instance options. So if you want EC2, there are several options, and that are on demand, then reserve instances, the spot instances. So we'll see that. Now on demand is nothing but pay for what you use, as the name suggests, and it has the highest cost but no upfront cost. Now second one, reserved instances. So reservation period can be 1 year or 3 years. So obviously if we go with 3 years we will get more discount. Then reserved instance scopes, so regional or zonal, and it is recommended for steady state usage application. Example, we have one database, so it's not like we need that database for 1 month or 2 months. So if a company is having database, so it is definitely for long-term use. So we can in that case go with this reserved instances option, and we can buy and sell these reserved instances in the marketplace. So next is nothing but the rates that we can see here. So first is no upfront cost, partial upfront, all upfront, and savings over on demand. So see, saving over on demand, so we can save if we can go with standard 1 year term, then we can save 36% no upfront. Partial upfront, if we pay, then we can save 39%. All upfront, if we pay, then we can save 40%. So here we are comparing reserved instances with on-demand instances. If we compare standard 3 year reserved instances with on-demand, let's see, if we choose no upfront, then we are getting 56% discount or savings, and if we pay all upfront, then it will be 62%. We are saving. Now the third option that we have is convertible reserved instances. So we can change this into instance type, instance family, OS, scope, and tenancy. So that's what we can change as a part of convertible reserved instance. So just an extension of reserved instances there. Now the next one is the savings plan. So as part of savings plans, we get discounts based on long-term usage. Then we can commit to a certain type of usage, let's say $10 per hour, or 1 or 3 years. So we are committing AWS that we are going to use $10 per hour for, let us say, next 3 years, something like that. And usage beyond our EC2 savings plan will be billed on demand, right? So it will be on demand. Okay, the next is spot instances. So spot instances is something really important. So it's nothing but most cost effective option in AWS, and the instances that we can lose at any point of time. Okay, so these are the instances that we can lose any point of time, and we can use these instances for workloads that are resilient to failure. So some some uh, actions or some uh, workloads which can be restarted. So for that instances we actually for that workloads we can use spot instances. So that's about spot instances because AWS don't guarantee us that it won't stop or something like that. So it can stop anytime, and that's why it is very cost effective and very cheap. The next one is the dedicated host. So it is nothing but a physical server with EC2 instances capacity fully dedicated to your use. There will be dedicated host for our purpose, and it will cost higher definitely. Now it allows you to address complex requirements and use our existing server bound software license, as we are getting host itself, so we can use our existing server bound software license, and we can purchase it on demand or reserved, let's say 1 or 3 years. So those two options only AWS provides. So not sure in future if we get more options here. Now it is the most expensive option as we are getting dedicated host itself, so definitely it is going to cost us more. Now we have dedicated instances. Now instances run on hardware that are dedicated to you, so that's nothing but dedicated instance. So it may share hardware with other instances in the same account, so we don't have control over that, and we don't have control over where our instances will be placed, so we don't have control over that as well. The next one is the capacity reservation. Now reserve on demand instance capacity in a specific availability zone for any duration, and we always have access to EC2 capacity when you need it, and no time commitment, create and cancel anytime, and no billing discounts for this capacity reservation. So okay, so that's about EC2 instance options and their pricing. Now next one, so this is next actually the uh, syllabus point, basically 4.2. So the next one is AWS organizations, and this is also a very important point from exam perspective. Now it is a global service and it allows us to manage multiple AWS accounts, and the main account is the master account, and what cost benefits we will get as a part of this AWS organization are consolidated billing across all the accounts, and there will be single payment method. So there will be pricing benefits from aggregated usage and pooling of reserved EC2 instances for optimal storage. So let's say we have 3 or 4 accounts, and some reserved instances will be there from one account, so we can use that instances in our other account. So I hope you are understanding. Now API is available to automate AWS account creation, and we can restrict account privilege using service control policies, and we can create accounts per department. So that's basically very good advantages of AWS organization. Now what are service control policies? Let's talk about that. Service control policies can widely store blacklist IAM actions. It can be applied at OU or account level, does not apply to the master account. Service control policies is applied to all the users and roles of the account, including the root user, and the SCP does not affect service linked roles. So let's say we have some service linked roles enable other AWS services to integrate with AWS organization, and cannot be restricted by SCPs, so it cannot be restricted. Now SCP must have an explicit allow, does not allow anything by default. So use cases of this is restrict access to certain services. For example, let's say we want some account to restrict the use of EMR, so that can be done using this. Now all these 3 highlighted points, I have seen questions on them, so I have separately put them. So one bill for multiple accounts, so it is indicating AWS organization service, combined usage and volume pricing discounts, and it is also indicating AWS organization, and the AWS account must be able to operate as a standalone account. Only then it can be removed from AWS organizations. So it's also, a line picked from question itself. So that's about AWS organization. The next one is AWS Control Tower. So easy way to set up and govern a secure compliant multi-account AWS environment based on the best practices. So talking about the benefits of Control Tower, we can automate the setup of our environment in a few clicks. We can automate ongoing policy management using guardrails, and we can detect policy violations and remediate them, and we can monitor compliance through an interactive dashboard. So that's the benefits. Then AWS Control Tower runs on top AWS organizations, and it automatically sets up AWS organization to organize accounts and implement service control policies. The next one is the identifying resources available for billing support. Now this is very important, very important. I'm talking about it. I have seen several questions on these support plans. So we have basic developer and business and enterprise support. Talking about the basic support, what we get is 24/7 access to customer service, documentation, white papers, and support forums. Then we can access to only 7 core trusted advisor checks as part of basic support plan. Then we get AWS personal health dashboard, where we can have a personalized view of the health of AWS resources and alerts when our resources are impacted. And the next one is the developer plan. So as part of developer plan, we get email based technical support during business hours, and we get access to 7 core trusted advisor checks, and AWS recommends developer support if you are testing or doing early developments on AWS. The next is business support. So as business support provides 24/7 phone, email, and chat access to the technical support, full access to AWS trusted advisor best practice checks, and access to infrastructure event management for additional fee only business. So this point is belongs to only business support. So this is something special. Even enterprise support is not having this service. Now, architectural guidance to specific use cases, and AWS recommends business support if you have production workloads. The last one is enterprise support. So it provides 24/7 technical support from high quality engineers, tools, and technology to automatically manage the health of our environment, consultative review and guidance based on our application, and a designated technical account manager and AWS subject matter experts, and access to online training and self-paced learning labs. So this point is only available for enterprise support. Then we get architecture guidance to our application, and enterprise support provides customers with concierge like service. So this is also we get with enterprise support only. Now I have written them in terms of differences only. So it is better to, easy to remember in terms of differences, like architectural guidance to your application, and here architectural guidance to specific use case. So you can follow this for all the points, and remember these as differences between these 4 support plans. The next one, pricing and billing related services. So let's talk about them. So we have pricing calculator first. Now, as part of pricing calculator, we can compare on-premises prices with AWS cloud, and it is used to forecast cost before implementing new workload in the AWS cloud. So these 2 points I have taken from question itself. So that's about pricing calculator. The next one, billing dashboard. So it shows monthly usage, and the third one, cost and usage reports. So we get some details here actually. The AWS cost and usage report contains most comprehensive set of AWS cost and usage data, including additional metadata about AWS services, pricing, credits, fees, taxes, discounts, cost categories, reserved instances, and savings plan. So we get details in cost and usage reports. The AWS cost and usage report itemizes usage at account or organization level by product code, usage type, and operation. These costs can be further organized by cost allocation, tax, and cost categories. Now, the AWS cost and usage report is available at hourly, daily, or monthly level of granularity, as well as at the management or member account level. The fourth one is Cost Explorer. Now, it is used to visualize, understand, and manage our AWS cost and usage over time. Then it can be used to create custom reports that analyzes cost and usage data. It analyzes your data at high level and usage across all the accounts, and we can use this for forecast usage up to 12 months based on previous usage. So I have seen several questions on this, so this is also an important point. The fifth one is AWS budgets. So we can create a budget and send alarms when the cost exceeds the certain budget. There are three types of budgets that we can create: usage, cost, and reservations. So based on these three, there are three types of budgets. For reserved instances, we can have track utilization, support EC2 elastic cache and RDS and Redshift, and up to 5 SNS notifications per budget. So that's about AWS budget. The sixth one is AWS Compute Optimizer. So over provisioning resources can lead to unnecessary infrastructure cost, and under provisioning resources can lead to poor application performance. So both are not good for us, and we should have optimized provisioning of the resources, and for that purpose we can use AWS Compute Optimizer. Now it helps to choose optimal configuration of three type of AWS resources, that are EC2 instances, EBS volumes, and Lambda functions based on our utilization, data utilization basically. The next one, cost allocation tags. So we can use cost allocation tags to track our AWS costs on detail level, and there are certain AWS generated tags and user defined tags. So AWS generated tags are automatically applied to the resources when we create them, and they starts with prefix AWS, so just to identify them. And user defined tags, so it starts with prefix user. So on demand, reserved, and spot Amazon EC2 Linux instances are charged per second with a minimum charge of 1 minute. So this is something point that I added later. So probably I have seen it in one of the questions, so that's why I have added it later here. So it says on demand, reserved, and spot instances, spot Amazon EC2 Linux instances basically are charged per second with a minimum charge of a minute. So let's say you ran Linux instance for 58 seconds, then also you have to you will be charged on minute basis 1 minute. So 1 minute will be minimum, and then it will charge as per the seconds. Let's say like 1 minute and 5 seconds, 50 seconds, like that. Now credits are applied in the following order. So if we have some credits, let us say, then those credits will be applied on soonest expiring first one, the second one least number of applicable products, and third one oldest credit. So soonest expiring credit will get applied first. So let us after that they will see least number of applicable products, and after that they will see oldest credit. So based on these three criteria, the credits are applied. The next one is integration services. So I'm not reading all the details, so Quickly, I will talk about a few important points. So Amazon SNS is nothing but simple notification service. So it can be used to send both text messages and emails. So it is nothing but publish subscriber type of service. The next one is QS is nothing but simple queue service. So it is nothing but message queuing service that enables you to decouple application components. So decoupling is important here as a part of this SQS service. Then the next one is MQ. So Amazon MQ is managed message broker service. You can have a read or pause and read these pointers here. Then Amazon Kinesis. Kinesis is nothing but real-time big data streaming service. It is managed service to collect, process, and analyze real-time streaming data at any scale. Then a machine learning. There are certain services based on machine learning, so this is also important, and you should know which service does what. So first one is recognition. As the name suggests, it finds objects, people, text, scenes in the images and videos using machine learning. Amazon Transcribe is the next one, which converts speech to text. Poly is there, which converts text to speech. Translate is the language translation. I mean, pretty simple. Translate. And Lex and Connect. So Lex and Connect is nothing but same technology that powers Alexa. Amazon Connect is nothing but receiving calls, creating virtual contact centers, and it can integrate with other CRM systems or AWS, and no upfront payments, 80% cheaper than additional contact center solutions. So that's about Amazon Connect. Amazon Comprehend, so it's nothing but fully managed and serverless natural language processing. So use case is provided here, like analyze customer feedback to a group, if it is positive or negative. So that's use case there. And then Amazon SageMaker is there. So this is fully managed service for developers or data scientists to build machine learning models. And then there comes Amazon Forecast, which is again fully managed service, which is used to deliver highly accurate forecasts. So the next one is Kendra. So Amazon Kendra is again fully managed document search service. Amazon Personalize, so it is personalized product recommendations, re-ranking of customized direct marketing. Then Amazon Text Track, so it automatically extracts text, handwriting, and data from any scanned documents. So that's a few services based on machine learning. Again, we have a few services. There are a lot of services actually as part of this AWS CCP. But these are the final set of services, other AWS services. Now, first one, Amazon Workspace. So it is nothing but managed desktop as a service solution to easily provision Windows or Linux desktops. The second one is Amazon AppStream 2.0. So it is desktop application streaming service. Third one is Amazon Sumerian. So it is AR VR service, we can say. Anything in the question, if you see related to AR VR, you can go with this Amazon Sumerian service. Then IoT Core. So AWS IoT Core allows you to easily connect IoT devices to the AWS cloud. Then Elastic Transcoder, so it is used to convert media files stored in S3 into media files in the format required by consumer playback devices. Then AppSync. So AppSync is nothing but to store and sync data across mobile and web apps in real time. Amplify is nothing but a set of tools and services that helps you develop and deploy scalable full stack web and mobile applications. Then the device farm. So device farm is nothing but it tests our web and mobile applications against desktop browsers, real mobiles devices and tablets. Then Amazon AWS backup. So it is used to centrally manage and automate backups across all the AWS services. AWS data sync. which is used to move large amount of data from on-premises to AWS. AWS application discovery service. So it plans migration projects by gathering information about on-premises data centers. Then AWS application migration service, which is lift and shift, we can say rehost solution, which simplify migration application to AWS. Then AWS fault injector simulator. Now it is fully managed service for running fault injection experience on AWS workload. The next one, step functions, which builds serverless visual workflows to orchestrate your Lambda functions. And AWS ground station, so it is fully managed service that lets you control satellite communications, process data, scale satellite operations. And the last one is Amazon Pinpoint, so it is scalable two-way inbound outbound marketing communication service. So use cases are like run campaigns by sending marketing bulk transactional SMS messages. So uh, this way we are have covered everything that I have as part of notes, and I have added a little bit extra here actually in certain services, like here some extra points. So I will suggest you to make short notes out of this whatever I give information I have given. On top of this, you can prepare your own notes, your own short notes that can you can quickly go through, take a read before exam. So that's all I have, and I will recommend you to always go through official syllabus if there are any changes or anything, and you can then include those changes into your short notes, so it's not that hard exam to crack. So I wish you very all the best for your exam. So that's all. I will try to create question series as well on this AWS series. There are a lot of question series as well on the CCP already on the YouTube, so you can refer that as well. I have referred one of them. So thank you very much, and have a good day.